What is up, party people? It's me, Jason McIntyre, joined as always by my man, Jeff Schwartz. Happy holidays and happy special Wednesday edition of Talk the Line. Week 16 sneaking up also on us, Jeff. This will be, and we just, I think, charted this out, right, Jeff? The first NFL season in a long time, maybe forever, where there's NFL action every single day of the week during this season.
Well, it's obviously a weird year because of COVID, but guess what? We've made it. It's already the holidays. We have 2 regular season weeks left. Congratulations to everyone involved. They made it work, and I'm happy to watch games again this weekend.
As am I. We have Friday football, a Fox game, Vikings Saints. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's look at the board, Jeff, right out the gate. Jeff, we are seeing 7 home dogs this week, an extraordinary number. And we are also coming off of week 15, Jeff, where 2 underdogs of 14 or more won outright. First time that's happened in 47 years. Obviously, you had that money line parlay, right?
That would have paid out like 4,300 to 1 or some crazy number like that. I did not have that. I did not think. I thought the Rams game would be ugly, but oh boy, I didn't think that the Steelers would give that performance Monday night.
Unbelievable stuff. All right, let's get to week 16. Let's start with the game of the week. Rams at the Seahawks. Huge divisional ramifications. Rams currently 1.5-point underdogs on the road, and the total of 47.5. Now, Jeff, we know that McVay has had Pete Carroll's number. They've won 5 of 6, including an earlier meeting. Yeah. Russell Wilson looked pretty bad, 2 interceptions, sacked 6 times. But the big difference in this one, he's not handing the ball off to DJ Khaled or whatever his name is. Remember, Carson and Hyde missed that game. Both are healthy for this one. They will be active. Jeff, do you have a lean to the side or total?
I really like the Rams here. I think I'll take them even on the money line, but I'll take 1.5 here for many reasons. One, obviously, they got embarrassed last weekend, right? And the Rams are better than this, and we understand that. And they do own Seattle. And for some reason, the NFC West has a lot of trends like this, right? Like the Rams own the Cardinals own the 49ers, the Seahawks don't play well against the Rams. I think here again, the Rams play really well. After a loss this year, they're 4-0, the Rams are after a loss, plus 39 point differential, plus 10 in sack ratio, plus 10 and plus 7 in turnover margin. They play really well after a loss, but here's also why I like them. Number 1 in the NFL, defending the deep ball. We know that Seattle's offense really thrives, able to throw the ball deep to DK Metcalf. We've seen less of that in their offense. Their offense has gotten way more conservative. And lastly, I know people were talking up Seattle's defense. Here, last 4 quarterbacks they've played: Carson Wentz, Colt McCoy, Sam Darnold, Dwayne Haskins. First time in over a month, they get a real offense to play again. So I think the Rams play well. They get back from this Jets loss, go into Seattle and win this game.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned the quarterbacks they've faced. I've fallen into the trap. Like, is this Seattle defense getting good? You know, the sack numbers are ticking up. Jamal Adams setting a record for defensive back sacks in a season. And I kind of wanted to make a case for Seattle here, but I don't know that there is one, honestly. Like, what we've seen in that works against the Rams is the 49ers strategy. Hand the ball off to Mostert and company. Control the clock. Remember, they have beaten the Rams twice this year. What did they do? They controlled the clock for 37 minutes and then 34 minutes in the other one. Can Seattle do that? Because really, you're going away from your strength of Russell Wilson. I'm going to look at the under as well, and I would love the Rams getting points, but this probably, Jeff, ends up at pick'em. Let's look at the prop bet for this NFC West showdown. It is everybody's favorite quarterback, Russell Wilson, has not been cooking as much lately. Yeah. Over under 1.5 touchdown passes. There is some juice to the over, Jeff.
The Rams allow the least amount of passing touchdowns in the NFL. I would go under here. I know that it's 1 touchdown pass, not very likely for Russell Wilson. But again, this Rams team has played really well against Russell Wilson. The first game this year, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I also would be a little bit concerned about Seattle's offense. It feels like, look, the start of the year hot, right? We know that Russell Wilson, they had to score a bunch of points because their defense was bad. There was a middle stretch of the year when Russell Wilson was trying to do too much because he realized the defense wasn't very good. Now the defense has played better. They've reeled in that pass game a little bit. They're not letting him cook as much. They're not scoring as many points on offense against good teams, right? I mean, the Jets don't count. So we're seeing kind of a pullback of their offense. It was ugly this weekend. They're up 20-3 in that game against Washington. Had to hold on for dear life at the end against Dwayne Haskins. So I just think there's a little bit of concern with this offense. I go under here.
Yeah, and I was watching Russ in that second half. I had a sizable play on Seattle. We talked about it on Sunday's show. Up 20-3. midway through the third. They intercept Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
All right, how am I spending these winnings? And Seattle went back into a shell offensively. I just want to caution people. Jeff and I both like this game a lot. It's a great game. Just remember to remove the emotion from what you just saw last week, okay? The Rams had 97 yards in the first half against the Jets, okay? They clearly were not up for that game. They will show up in this one. We know that it's easy to overlook a winless team.
Yeah.
Don't read too much, right, Jeff, into what we just saw last
Agreed.
week. Yeah, all right, let's get to game 2. This one is a bit of a surprise. The Indianapolis Colts on the road in Pittsburgh, 2-point favorites with a total of 45. Now, Jeff, we obviously should mention the Pittsburgh Steelers are leaking oil, have lost 3 straight. It's a little troubling when nobody's focusing on the ineptitude of Ben Roethlisberger, but instead the big story in Pittsburgh is, can Juju Smith stop dancing on the opponent's logo? Like, who cares? You know, I mean, win a football game, right? Now, Jeff, I do want to point out, Pittsburgh, this is the second time in 3 weeks we've seen the market shift on them dramatically. We talk about the look-ahead line. Pittsburgh was favored on the look-ahead line before they went out and lost this past weekend as big favorites to Cincinnati. So the market moved against them in Buffalo. Buffalo won and covered. Do we see the same scenario unfolding at home against Indianapolis?
Well, I lean the under here a little bit, but if you're looking for a side, I think the Colts are the play. I know that you mentioned the market is really in that direction, but what about Pittsburgh gives you confidence all they're going to change this? They know they've had problems on offense. We watching the same game they're watching. They're watching the film too, and they just cannot get things going. It looks so difficult to manufacture yards. And that's what happens when you have a bad offense. It's not just one person, right? Ben has not played well either, but for a while we had drop passes. We had some poor routes run. The offensive line can't block anybody. And then Benny Snell one time closed his eyes on third down, had a first down, but didn't get it. So each one keeps making issues. And there's no way to fix it in week 16. There's no magic bullet for this offense. There's no change of scheme for this offense. And so I just worry they're becoming very one-dimensional and trying to throw the ball as quickly as possible, avoid mistakes, and they can't run the football. And you get the Colts defense that's really good, guys. They're a good defense. They play physical. They're well-disciplined, and they play a ton of zone coverage. 9 out of Big Ben's 10 interceptions this year are against zone coverage. He does not play well against zone coverage. They're going to sit back in zone, force the Steelers to run the football, which they do not do very well. We know that so far. And I think the Colts here, the under I like a lot too, but I feel if you're taking a side here, Jason, it's got to be the Colts who are playing good football right now.
Yeah, Jeff, that's a great nugget on the zone defenses. I also saw that Ben Roethlisberger tied for the second most interceptions on passes 20 yards or more. And that plays to what you were saying about this truncated offense that's played in like a phone booth. You know, they cannot stretch the field. Poor Football Focus has Ben Roethlisberger 20 of 60 passing on 20 or more yards downfield. The accuracy isn't there. And Jeff, if you look closely, Ben looked good. The shoulder was fine. The elbow was fine coming off surgery in September. His numbers have consistently ticked down. And that does worry me against this aggressive Colts defense. Meanwhile, Indianapolis, listen, I know they've only beaten 2 teams with a winning record this year, but this is a Colts team that maybe hasn't started peaking yet as we see Michael Pittman emerging as a real threat and Jonathan Taylor getting stronger as the season goes on. For the prop bet, though, producer Conrad pulled a good one. Juju Smith-Schuster, the man of the hour. I don't even think he's their best receiver anymore. Chase Claypool's the guy. Juju Smith over under 58.5 receiving yards.
Ooh, man, this one's tough. I want him to break out. I want him to start playing better, but I don't think it's going to happen, Jason. I don't know again, when you look at this offense, there's no like magic switch they're going to flip, right? It's a week 16 now. There's no changing of the guard. There's no new offense they're going to run. And right now in this offense, Juju's not playing very well. And I don't think it's going to change this weekend. Again, the Colts are going to sit back in zone coverage and say, look, Ben, you have to try to find a way to beat us in the holes of the zone. You have to run the football. We're not going to let you get man coverage. Ben is better against man coverage because he can let those guys go and just go get the ball deep along the sides on all those fade routes. And so I don't see it happening, Jason. I go under here.
Yeah, the only pushback I would offer is Pittsburgh cannot run the football. I mean, they can't run against Cincinnati. They can't run it against anybody. Yeah. Ben's going to have to drop back another 40, 45 times. Colts run defense, thanks to DeForest Buckner, is excellent. So if Ben's putting it in the air, the option will be there. But I'm kind of with you. Like, I don't like what I've seen from Juju. Yeah. Has not been the same guy since Antonio Brown left. And I don't know if Deontay Johnson would stop dropping balls, he would probably be their second best receiver after Claypool. Well, let's see about that injury to Eric Ebron as well, the tight end. Ben loves him for whatever reason. His nickname is Droptimus Prime, but Ben still targets him 10 times a game. I'm over the Steelers. Let's move on, Jeff. All right, let's get to tasty AFC East showdown. I don't know if I can call it a showdown since Buffalo locked up the division. 7-point favorites on the road in New England, total 46.5. Jeff, I do want to mention, when you look, we talk about mindset sometimes, okay? The Buffalo Bills win the division first time, since I was like in elementary school or something. And they come home at 1:30 in the morning, and waiting at the airport is a throng of hundreds of Buffalo Bills fans to greet their team. 1:30 in the morning. These guys are rock stars in Buffalo. Now, Jeff, how does that apply to gambling? Well, you just won the division. You're in the playoffs. Is there a bit of a letdown coming given the Patriots are out of the playoffs? You already beat them once. Doesn't really matter what happens here. It's Christmas week. Is there some value perhaps on the Patriots?
There could be, but the Patriots are also just dead in the water, right? There's nothing about them right now that gets you excited at all, other than you could just say, hey, maybe they're just playing for pride, but they should have played for pride last weekend. They don't have it right now. There's talks obviously every day about who their quarterback's going to be. Belichick was very snarky today about who that might be. I like Buffalo here, Jason, and I'm going to do this for my confidence meter later, to put in a teaser, right? Bring that from -7 all the way down to -1, where I feel more comfortable. Because, look, the Patriots, for whatever reason, we're all like this. I feel like we still kind of look at them through the lens of what they used to be. And at times, 7 points, like at home and back against the wall. But their back is not against the wall anymore, right? Because they're not in the playoffs. Like, they're out. They're completely out. Buffalo's defense the last month of the season is allowing 18 points per game and only allowing 83 yards rushing. We know that the Patriots' main mode of offense is rushing the football. So I think Buffalo -7 feels not as good as Buffalo -1 in a teaser. So that's the direction I'm looking.
I like the sound of that teaser. It may make an appearance for me later as well. We'll see. Just a quick note on the Patriots. Jeff, we've seen Belichick use to his advantage getting early reps in the preseason to the young guys, coach them up and get them ready. He didn't have that opportunity this year. I would not be shocked if we saw a lot of young kids. What do we have with this guy? Yeah. I don't know if Belichick plays Cam Newton. Maybe we see Stidham as the starter. It sounds like Gilmore's probably done for the season. Yeah. I wonder what Belichick does here. Remember, they have the Jets on deck in week 17. This feels almost like a tryout for the Bills, but that doesn't mean it's an auto play on Josh Allen and the Bills. I would, if anything, I would be curious at looking at an under, but this Buffalo offense is a juggernaut, so I'm not even sure about that. Ultimately, probably a stay away straight up for me. Let's get to the prop bet. I just talked about Buffalo Bills being really good and the Patriots maybe using this game as a tryout. Team total 18.5. That's an interesting one, Jeff. Usually we see like a 16.5 right under 17, a key number. Where are you on this one?
I think you got to go over. I mean, it's not over, under. Right? Over is juiced a little bit. I think under, right? I mean, what about? And I liked the Dolphins last weekend because I think New England was going to score. And again, they had nothing to play for. You mentioned Cam might not play. Maybe Stidham plays. They got beat up on the offensive line again. They just have no motivation this weekend. They have none whatsoever. First time in what, since 2007 now? They haven't made the playoffs. Like, there's nothing for them to play for. And all their veteran guys are gone. They're hurt. They opted out. I don't think they're going to play well this weekend.
Yeah, Jeff, we went head-to-head on the Patriots last week. You came out the victor with Miami. I got to be honest, guys. I'm done with the Patriots, so don't ask me for thoughts. Yeah. Like, I can't figure them out. I'm probably like 2-5 with them this year. I'm done. It's over. Let's move on to game 4, week 16 here on Talk the Line. Ooh, look at this. Green Bay Packers, 3.5-point favorites at home against the Ryan Tannehill-led Tennessee Titans. Look at that total, folks. Huge total on this one. Yeah. 56 points. I will admit, second bet that I made earlier this week was on the side, on the total. Jeff, this is a big number. There could be snow in the forecast. Again, you never want to look too far ahead. It's only Wednesday. I'll let you fire whenever you're ready on this one. This is a great matchup. Some might say a Super Bowl matchup. Not me, but your thoughts.
So this is the one I've had the most trouble with this week because it's a huge game, right? And you want to bet all the huge games. It's kind of natural instinct. I've had a tough time figuring out what side I should go with. I kind of feel like I want to wait for this to see what happens with the Lions. Look, it's only Wednesday. I feel like there's so much money pouring on the Titans. If this gets to Green Bay -3, that's the side I would like to take, is Green Bay -3. Offensively, they're a juggernaut right now, right? And so is Tennessee. But Tennessee cannot rush the passer, and they're last in the NFL on third down. They're last in pressure rate, last in sacks, and last on third down. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw for a zillion yards in this game. Like, they're not going to be stopped. And so I look at which defense I think can get one stop. It's the Packers defense. They've improved over the last couple of weeks. And here's one thing that's very interesting. Derrick Henry's number one in the NFL running against a stacked box. The Packers don't do it very often. When they do pack the box, they're seventh in the NFL in yards per carry. So they're actually kind of good when they want to try to stop the run. Tennessee's offense, number one in the NFL in scoring. I get all that. And the over is probably a good play too, Jason. But I think the Packers get to 3 at some point this week is when I feel comfortable taking them.
Okay, I would largely agree with that. I love the over here, Jeff. I took it 55.5.
Yeah,
I still like it. I think there's some value at 56. Remember when we saw the Cleveland Browns face the Titans and everybody was like, oh, who's going to get stops? Nobody got stops. Cleveland jumped to a 38-7 lead. We saw Aaron Rodgers on Saturday jump to a 21-3 lead against Carolina. Of course, Carolina, they let them back in that game. This will be different in that it's not going to get away from Tennessee. They should be able to keep it close and have success. Derrick Henry could have a monster game. I would be shocked if producer Conrad gave a prop on Derrick Henry, who's maybe on his way to 2,000 yards. One note, just maybe an interesting tidbit: Matt LaFleur, Packers head coach, he was the OC back in 2018 in Tennessee under Mr. Vrabel. There is some familiarity there. I would not be surprised if LaFleur is looking to make a bit of a statement here against his former team. Not a revenge game by any stretch. He didn't get fired. But I do believe this is a total that soars over. Should be a fun one, and there could be snow. All right, let's get to that prop bet. Yes, you knew it. You knew it was coming. Derrick Henry, Fox bet not giving away free money like they did on Sunday, 75 yards and a touchdown. This one's 106 yards and a half for Derrick Henry against a Packers run defense that has been gashed. 4 running backs have gone over 100 yards this year against them. Jeff, are you taking the free money?
I'm taking the free money. Look, I think when you see teams play Tennessee, the goal, we saw this in the playoffs last year when they played good defenses, the Ravens and the Patriots. And when they play good teams, this is what happens. Teams are fine with Derrick Henry running the football. They're going to play those 2 safeties deep because what's tougher to defend? A 20-yard play action pass that can lead to a touchdown. We saw at Tennessee last week hit one of those very early in the game. Or would you rather give up 5 yards a carry? You'd obviously rather give up 5 yards a carry. So I think the Packers enter this game and say, look, we'll let Derrick Henry run the football because A, we can score on the Titans, and B, we don't want to allow Ryan Tannehill to rip off these giant play action pass games that they have. So I think Derrick Henry will get over this number, and the Packers might be fine with Henry doing this.
Yeah. So that's a really good game. Just one final note on that one. This is a Green Bay Packers team that obviously will keep its starters in looking for that number 1 seed. So don't think, even if it's a blowout, that they're going to pull Aaron Rodgers, because we know Tennessee's a quick strike offense. Go ahead. And
Rodgers, this is primetime football, right? This is the game Sunday night. He's in the MVP battle right now, and he is great in primetime. He's fantastic in primetime. So look for him. If you can find an Aaron Rodgers over touchdown, over yardage, that's where to go to.
Yeah. All right. In game 5, this has a bunch of great subplots. It's not a great game, but the subplots are fascinating. The Washington Football Club, 1.5-point favorites at home against the Carolina Teddy Bridgewaters. And Jeff, again, this is another off-field story. Total, you see 45.5. So Dwayne Haskins went and celebrated a loss to Seattle at a strip club in the DC area on Sunday. Of course, the images come out. And today, Dwayne Haskins was stripped of his captaincy by Washington. But the funny story is, because Alex Smith is still hurt, Haskins is probably going to start. No definitive word. It's only Wednesday. Haskins now, because of contact tracing, has to do practice via Zoom. I'm sure he's really thrilled, Jeff, to be the quarterback in a huge game. Washington needs this to get to the playoffs. And of course, the other subplot is Ron Rivera, Washington's coach, used to coach in Carolina, went to a Super Bowl with Cam Newton. They lost that. And Washington's somehow favored here, Jeff. No Christian McCaffrey at practice today. Your thoughts on the game?
No Christian McCaffrey, no Brian Burns, and no Russell Okung either. Like they're down a lot of guys on the Panthers. Panthers have lost 8 of their last 9 games as well. I thought they were a team this year that wouldn't win 5.5. I have a ticket for them under 5.5. So look, I think right now on Wednesday it's too early to make a play on this game. If Alex Smith is playing this game, you hammer Washington, right? Washington is playing for a division. If they win this game, they win the division. It's over. There's no need for Week 17. They win this weekend with the Giants loss to Baltimore, which I think people expect to happen. So I stay away now, Jason, until we know more about the quarterback. Alex Smith's leg, obviously. His calf is sore. He doesn't even really have a calf either. So I don't know if he'll play this weekend. I hope he does. I like rooting for him. I like watching him play. I just don't think the Panthers are going to move the ball at all. So if Haskins can make some plays, we saw at the end of the Seattle game, he did enough when needed to move that ball at the end of the game. I guess you wait till the starters determine, but probably Washington here. What about Carolina has you excited?
Well, they're 8-3 as an underdog, 8-3 against the spread. And Jeff, that's one of the weird things. We do talk about this a lot. Some teams are better in the underdog role. There's one I like later we'll get to. But, Carolina, they're not good as favorites, but as underdogs, Teddy Bridgewater, that's what he does. 18-2 against the spread as a road dog, thanks to that Carolina cover in Green Bay. But Washington is also a really good against the spread team. Quietly, Jeff, 9-5 against the spread, second best in the league this year. And again, none of that's predictive. We don't know if that means anything about what's going to happen Sunday. Again, like Jeff said, just wait. There's no reason to fire right now on this game unless you have inside information on Alex Smith's calf. But at this rate, I'm going to wait and see. I will just say, Jeff, I'm looking at Carolina here. There is some fraudulence with this Washington team. I know they've looked pretty good recently, but man, with Haskins, they are a bad foot. I watched 2.5 quarters. They couldn't move the football against Seattle, and Seattle's defense is not great. I know Carolina's is not.
Carolina, the cover against the spread is interesting because, I think they're most of the time on the road, especially this year, right? They're at Kansas City, at Green Bay. These are big spreads they're covering at the end of games late. I mean, look, the Panthers covered that spread the other day because they kicked the field goal instead of going for it on 4th down, like late in the game. I mean, could easily not cover that game. So I just don't believe in Carolina at all. I don't believe in Haskins. I think you wait this game out till Sunday.
I'm with you. All right, let's get to the prop bet here for Carolina, Washington. Logan Thomas, the converted Virginia Tech quarterback. He's been a pretty good tight end for some fantasy owners. Will he score a touchdown? Plus 200.
How about Logan Thomas, right? He goes in the NFL. He tries to be a quarterback. He's like, not going to go play tight end. He's like, sure, I'm going to make a name for myself playing tight end. I appreciate that, his effort to make this work. He's done a good job. Why not? Plus 200, put $10 on it, win 20, have some fun watching this game. Otherwise, I don't know why else you'd watch it.
Yeah, I like that. We'll call that sub money, right? Pizza's a little more expensive. $10 sub bet. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's get to game 6 here on Talk the Line. Jeff Schwartz and Jason McIntyre. The Miami Dolphins. Woo! Won Jeff some money last week. Cost me, though. They are 3-point favorites in Vegas. Ooh, gotta love going to Vegas for Christmas. And they're calling this the Samoan Super Bowl. Tua versus Derek Carr, not Derek Carr, obviously, Mariota. Total 47.5. A lot of injuries, especially to the Raiders secondary. They were down 4 defensive starters last week. Miami has injuries too. We'll give you the preface. It's Wednesday. Monitor injury reports. Miami was down its top 3 receivers last week, a tight end, a slot guy, and an outside guy. So, Jeff, I know it's early to make a definitive decision here, but are you leaning one way or the other?
Yeah, I believe Tua and Marcus went to the same high school in Hawaii too. So this would be a big game for the entire island. I go to Miami here -3 for a couple of reasons. And one, the Raiders defense stinks, folks, right? The last 5 games they've allowed 36 points per game, and they're -7 in turnover margin for their team. Last week, the Dolphins rushed for 250 yards. And offensively, look, Tua, they protect him in their offense, right? It's very clear they do that. But one place where he's actually decent against is play action pass. And the Raiders are 5th worst in the NFL at allowing play action pass completions. They allow 9 yards per attempt, and they allow 9 touchdowns and 0 interception against play action pass. So Tua's good at one specific thing, which is basically run the football a bunch, boom, play action pass. Play action pass is great. It's 1 or 2 reads. That's it. You read a safety, you read a linebacker, boom, you throw the ball in there. So I think for those reasons, I really like the Dolphins to put up some points here. On the flip side, Dolphins defense since week 5, number 1 in the NFL in turnovers, number 1 in the NFL in points allowed per game, and number 2 in overall defense. I just think they're going to suffocate Marcus Mariota in this game. You saw what he did already. You have 1 game of film on him. He likes to run the football. They're going to pressure the heck out of him this weekend. I think it's a rough day for Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, a lot of casual gamblers, Jeff, will say, well, Mariota looked great against the Chargers. I mean, he came in a backup situation. Yeah. There's no shot that Anthony Lynn had a defense ready for Marcus Mariota. And it was just a bunch of fake handoffs and let me go end around. Nobody home for the Chargers. Flores will be ready. It's tough to throw deep on this team, as you mentioned, the great cornerbacks. But Jeff, at the same time, I do want to note, we're looking at, Henry Ruggs-less Raiders not having an option deep. They were somehow favored against the Chargers, outplayed basically the entire game. This actually feels light to me. I would not be shocked to see Miami at 3.5. This is a Raiders team. Leaking oil doesn't even begin to describe the disaster this team has become. I wonder if there will be, some John Gruden calls. I know he's got that huge contract, but he's been a disaster in the second half of the season. The defensive coordinator issues. I don't think you can make a case for the Raiders other than, hey, let's play it safe, give Josh Jacobs 30 carries, and hope he can get 175 yards on us and take us to the promised land. The prop bet, though, is Mr. Marcus Mariota. Woo, that's a big number.
It's a lot.
283.5 passing yards, Jeff, for the former Oregon standout.
Yeah. Look, it is a great time to be an Oregon Duck fan because we have Marcus Mariota and Justin Herbert. We just won the Pac-12 championship. It's a bad time to be a Raiders fan, which obviously we know they're having some issues right now. Look, but at least they won the October Super Bowl championship, which is most important. They beat the Chiefs this year, and they've won that. They have that banner hanging prowling in Las Vegas. I had to get my Raiders digs in there. I think this is definitely an under here, right, Jason? I mean, Miami's defense is outstanding. I don't really see how they generate 284 passing yards this weekend, unless there's some busted coverages. I could see Mariota rushing for a good total, but passing, no way, man.
All right, let's get to game 7. The Philadelphia Eagles, all of a sudden they're alive. I'll tell you this, for Sunday's show, we need to show Eagles odds to win the NFC East. They're alive somehow. The Dallas Cowboys also alive. Philadelphia 2.5-point favorites. In Dallas, Jerry World, there will be fans. Big total here, 50 for this battle of what you would think is like really, really bad teams, but one of these two might host a playoff game given the Giants' schedule going forward. Jeff, I'm struggling to find a reason not to take Jalen Hurts here. Can you talk me out of it?
Well, I like the over here because I think both offenses are doing some good things. Andy Dalton, since he's been in 5 games, has 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And I just think their offense is starting to kind of click a little bit now. Tony Pollard's playing well as a running back. Don't pay running backs, guys. Don't do it. They paid Zeke anyways. Tony Pollard's found a good rhythm. Plus, Eagles defensively, we saw last weekend, Kyler Murray had 400 yards passing. He should have had 500. I mean, I don't know why they even ran the ball at all in that game. On the flip side, Jalen Hurts, man, he makes plays. He makes a lot of plays in this Dallas defense. Not very good still. The total's gone over in a bunch of their games so far this season. I would not lean Philly, by the way. Philly 0-5 against the spread their last 5 road games. I know different quarterback in one of those two, but they don't do a good job of closing games out. That's why I think the points is the way to go here.
Okay, so let me make the case for Hurts. He looked pretty good against the Saints in his first game, at least for a half. We saw him, slow down in the second half. He moved the ball pretty well on Arizona last week on the road. And this is going to be the weakest defense he's seen in his 3 starts. Like, Dallas doesn't play much defense. Even Nick Mullins could move the football last week, and we know how badly he's done this season. I know he's a rookie quarterback, but we've seen the Eagles. This has ticked up a point. This was so somebody's coming in here backing the Eagles. I like your overplay because that Eagles defense gave up 526 yards to the Arizona Cardinals last week, and that is with the Cardinals turning it over twice inside the 10-yard line. So that could have been a 600-yard performance from Arizona. They left a bunch of points on the board. I think Dallas scores, I like Jalen Hurts in this spot. I don't know. Irrational love for Jalen Hurts. At least it's not Carson Wentz, right?
And their offense looks like a real offense with Jalen Hurts. It looks like a functional offense. There's some rhythm to it. And you notice everyone's playing better, right? Everyone, like the offensive line, all of a sudden can block again. And then the wide receivers, they caught a ton of passes last week and they were tough catches. It was even a play where Jalen Hurts fumbled in the pocket, picked it up, and completed a 25-yard pass downfield. Like, he is finding ways to make plays in this offense when Carson Wentz couldn't do it.
And injury news for the Philadelphia secondary. The cluster injuries killed them. Kyler Murray went for over 400 yards.
Yeah.
Darius Slay, their best cornerback, looks like he's going to be back at practice this week and perhaps play. That would be a shot in the arm. But Dallas does have a good fleet of receivers. Yeah. Let's get to the prop bet. We've talked about him. Jalen Hurts, college star, new quarterback in Philly. They love him. They love a backup quarterback in Philly. Will he rush for over under 56.5 yards, Jeff Schwartz?
46 and a half.
I'm sorry, 46.
I was like, get extra 10 yards here. I think over here, because a lot of what they do does rely on his legs. And the Cowboys this year have had problems defending defenses that have their quarterback run. The Giants, the Ravens. I think over here is definitely in play because look, when things break down too, he can use his legs. So I'd say over here in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts. Those Dallas linebackers really struggling this year.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to go after any of them, but there's some talk that one or two of them could get cut outright in the offseason. Yeah. Save some money. All right, let's get to the confidence meter. Confidence meter, everybody's favorite portion of the show. Week 16, Jeff, running out of time. Let's start with your favorite confidence pick on the pizza bet.
All right, here we go. So New York Jets plus 9.5. And I'll tell you why. Quinn Williams being out kind of does bother me here, but here's why. So week 17, not this weekend, next weekend, sets up for the Browns to have their biggest home game since they returned as a franchise, right? They play the Steelers in week 17 at home for the division, the first division title since 1989. 1989. That'll be on Sunday Night Football. They'll be talked about week, and everyone's talking about it this week as well. Talking about, oh, guys, are you ready? Like, you're getting ready. They got fans in the crowd. Like, they're getting pumped for it. They still have to play the Jets, though. This is the worst spot any team has been in the NFL. Browns have no one under 30 years old who starts for them. So they're a young football team still, go back on the road. This is not really like a Jets beat the Rams, so I'm picking the Jets right here. The Jets, I think, are a little bit better than the record, but they're not like that good. But they've covered 4 of the last 6, 3 of the last 4 at home. I think the Browns just kind of limp into this game and limp by and just get ready for the Steelers game. Baltimore minus 10.5. The Giants are dead in the water. Joe Judge today is like, screw Christmas. We're going to work on. We're going to get ready for the Ravens. Like, get out of here, guy. Like, I'm getting tired of that act. Best 5-9 team of all time. I think Baltimore, they're playing good football, Jason. They're playing a good job right now. I think they roll over the Giants. And then here's my teaser. I like this one. Rams plus 8. I think Rams win outright, but I'll take 8 points. Buffalo from 7-1. I think they win here too. I feel very confident in my teaser.
I like that teaser pick. I don't know about my Jets, man. If they win another game, I'll be telling you right now.
No, I don't think they're going to win. I think they're going to keep it close.
Yeah. All right, let's get to my confidence meter picks. I got lucky. 3-0. I think my first in maybe a month or two. I'm starting out Arizona. We didn't talk about Arizona. We talked about it privately. You and
Love
I.
Arizona.
We both like Arizona.
Yeah.
San Francisco, a lot of issues on that team right now. I think they picked up Josh Rosen with the idea that maybe they're going to see what he's got this week.
Yes.
Stunner. Nick Mullins, the surgery that he's done for the year. My teaser, not my teaser, sorry. Tennessee, Green Bay over 55.5. Excuse me. I already bet that. Really like that over. And my 6-point teaser, yes, the Chicago Bears. Now, this is a win-win for me, Jeff. Okay, if the Bears squeak by and barely beat the Jags, reminder, Mitchell Trubisky's favored by a touchdown over anyone. That's a shocker. Then I win my teaser. If they lose outright, I lose the teaser, but the Jets get the number 1 pick. Yes, I care about that stuff. My other part of the teaser is Buffalo down to a 0.5 point. Jeff and I both think, Buffalo's the side. I can't see them losing outright to the Patriots. Feeling good about listen, if I go back-to-back 3-0s in the confidence meter, I might have to pull a producer Conrad and go like sleeveless next week. All right. Finally, let's get to Fox's Friday game. Little alliteration there. Did that? Yeah. Minnesota Vikings, Lizzo's favorite team. Pop culture reference. Ding. Against New Orleans. I saw that frown, Jeff. Yes. You know who Lizzo is. You have kids.
I saw her in concert in Miami for the Super Bowl. Great concert.
Vikings getting 7 in Minnesota. Total of 51. Jeff, I came really close to putting the Vikings in my confidence meter. They've lost 5 in a row against the spread. However, 4 of those were as favorites. This is a big dog number, and it looks like they're toast for the playoffs. New Orleans lost how many in a row? 2 in a row? A bit of a surprise. Jeff, your thoughts on this one?
Saints haven't lost 3 in a row since 2016. This is a good, I think, teaser opportunity too for Friday night. If you want to put the Saints down to 1, I don't have a great feel for this game, Jason, because I don't know what we're getting from Drew Brees. Obviously, last weekend he was hurting. Right? I mean, he entered the fourth quarter like 9 for 24 passing. It looked like a tough game for him with his ribs to come back from. If he is not 100% here, the offense is not going to be as good. But I think we look at Alvin Kamara, who's kind of been forgotten about when Taysom Hill was running this operation. The Vikings allow a lot of yards to running backs. They seem to gash the Vikings very well. I think Alvin Kamara can have a very big game here. But look, the Vikings played well in the situation. The playoffs last year, I think 7 points with the Vikings is probably the side you take here. But I think New Orleans down to 1 and a teaser would also be the option.
Okay, for anybody out there who is in the Facebook group being like, Jay, what on earth are you seeing here? Are you crazy? Christmas football and you're going to bet on Kirk Cousins? Like, do you want to be ticked off on Christmas Day? No, I don't. Here's the logic. I watched Jeff Schwartz's brother's Chiefs hold the ball for 41 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, on Sunday. 91 plays for that Saints defense. They had a couple injuries. 91 plays and a quick turnaround to face a Vikings team that Mike Zimmer loves that smash mouth football. Dalvin Cook, more Dalvin Cook. I think the Vikings can control the clock here. No Michael Thomas for the Saints. We saw how badly they struggled to move the football against the Chiefs, Jeff. I just think the Vikings can keep this close. Nothing to play for. No pressure on Kirk Cousins, gagging in the spotlight on Christmas. I don't think the Vikings win this outright, but you give me a tutty, I'll take it.
So on Christmas, you're taking your college tuition money for your kids.
No,
a wonderful day, and you want to put the Vikings. You're not that confident. Just you like the Vikings a little. This is the one game where you look at this line at 7. I just don't know if there's much value in all at 7. I just think it's kind of like So I think Vikings. Like again, Vikings plus 7 or Saints down on a teaser.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the prop for Christmas Day football. Alvin Kamara to score a touchdown. It's so weird. He was good with Drew Brees early this season, really tailed off with Taysom Hill. And he's kind of a forgotten guy now. I don't hear much about him. Then again, I don't hear much about the Saints offense at all. Jeff, will he score a touchdown?
I would lean yes here just because they need to work him back in this offense. Obviously, for a while, I think Sean Payne forgot kind of how to use him because the offense was just different with Taysom Hill. And now that Drew Brees is back in the swing of things, Drew Brees wants to find ways to use Alvin Kamara, and he should. And I think he should be a big part of this offense. I also think he just rips off a big rushing touchdown this game. The Vikings defense, again, against the run has not been good. The corners are getting better on defense, surely, but the run has just been kind of brutal. David Montgomery just ran up and down the field on them. Saints have a much better offensive line than the Bears. So give me Kamara here to score a touchdown.
My only problem is minus 165, Jeff. Like, am I going to bet $165 to win 100 with the possibility that, Latavius Murray gets the goal line carries? I just don't love that. I think there's better value on the board than a heavily juiced Alvin Kamara touchdown. Yeah. Should he score? Of course. The Vikings stink. But, there's the opportunity. If he can't take one of these 30-yard screen passes to the house, they bring in Taysom Hill for the short yardage packages. I don't know. I don't love that bet, so I wouldn't make it. And there it is. We have just wrapped up the best games for Sweet 16. Sweet 16 on Talk the Line. Jeff Schwartz, any parting thoughts before we head into a great holiday week here?
Merry Christmas. Enjoy the bowl games that are happening right now. Enjoy your NFL, and we'll be back Sunday.
Yeah, we will talk to you guys on Sunday. Happy wagering.